Welcome to PoliTraQ, the all-in-one advocacy management platform for government relations professionals. I'm Chris Moffat-Arms, and before starting PoliTraQ, I was a GR analyst in the post-secondary sector. In this brief video, I'll show you how to get up and running with PoliTraQ. We'll start by going over the basic data types within PoliTraQ, the first of which is files. Files represent a specific issue or point of focus for your advocacy efforts. For example, a particular piece of legislation or a specific funding program from which you're seeking a grant. Files can be assigned to a file lead and can be ranked in order of importance. You can also archive inactive files and return to them if and when needed. To create a file, all you need is a title and a brief description. You can also link a file to one or more keywords or priorities. Don't worry, we'll cover both those terms later in the video. Within a file, you'll be able to draft and collaborate on messages. You can also link a file to one or more ongoing committee studies or pieces of legislation, so you can receive embedded updates when they move forward. Finally, upload any key guiding documents, such as application guides or backgrounders, and have them available where and when you'll need them. Within PoliTraQ, you and your colleagues will be able to draft and share notes relating to open files, track references to relevant keywords, and identify potential stakeholders with whom you'll need to engage, allowing you to pull together call lists in no time. You'll also be able to review records of past engagements relating to a file and assign follow-up tasks to either your own or your team members' to-do lists. Finally, with the click of a button, you can export a detailed report of all of your activities. If files represent your specific advocacy issues, priorities represent collections of related files. Priorities can be based on jurisdiction, advocacy type, or desired outcome, or derived from your own internal strategic goals. This might sound complicated, so let's use an example. Let's say you work in-house for a university. In this instance, you might set up 3 jurisdictional priorities, 2 type-based priorities, and 3 based around the pillars of the university's own 5-year plan. For our purpose, let's call these research, student experience, and internationalization. A file relating to federal research funding could be linked to the federal, funding and grant applications, and research priorities. Another file on tuition policies might fall under provincial, regulatory and legislative change, funding and grant applications, and possibly student learning experience as well. By linking each file to one or more priorities, we generate a lot greater detail and context around our advocacy work, which levels of government we're most engaged with, the types of issues and advocacy work being conducted, and how our focus changes over time. Links to internal objectives also make it easier to communicate the impact of your work to non-specialist internal stakeholders, who may not have that deep understanding of GR. A list of dates and meetings may not mean much, but when shown how those meetings served broader organizational goals, the value proposition and impact of our work is much clearer. Structurally, you'll notice a lot of similarities between files and priorities, with the largest being key messages. Files have them, priorities do not. You can set access restrictions for members of your team on a file-by-file or priority-by-priority basis, allowing you to be as open as possible while still maintaining appropriate boundaries and safeguards within your team when necessary. Engagements are the records of interactions with stakeholders, other organizations, and anyone else with whom you may be in communication. PoliTraQ makes it easy to track and record any potential type of interaction, as well as their specific or reportable characteristics and outcomes. Ideally, each interaction will serve to move forward at least one of your files and/or priorities, allowing you to track and communicate the full scope and impact of any given interaction. Unlike more traditional CRMs, PoliTraQ does not require you to create a contact before you record an engagement with them. Perfect for when the minister brings a new staff member to a reportable engagement. If, later on, you create a contact with whom you've previously met, PoliTraQ is able to link engagements with that new contact automatically. Finally, contacts represent the individuals or organizations with whom you may be engaging, from elected officials and their staff to industry associations and comparable organizations. The main tab will display all of your biographical and contact information for a given stakeholder. By using PoliTraQ's email integration, you can also reach out to a contact directly from the platform and have that email automatically recorded as an engagement. For Canadian federal officials, you'll see the records of your past engagements with the contact, but also any monthly communication reports your contact has appeared in, giving you a heads up as to who else has been meeting with your key stakeholders. You can also see any recent legislative activity from your contacts who are elected officials, including recent remarks, legislation-sponsored cabinet or committee portfolios, and recent media releases. Export your contact profile with the click of a button and track any gift or hospitality expenses in line with proposed changes to the Lobbyist Code of Conduct. Finally, with 2 clicks, you can create an engagement report for the most frequent types of recorded interactions. Create a contact either by using our simple form or by using one of the bulk upload templates. PoliTraQ also makes available populated contact templates for all federal and provincial elected officials. Through our partnership with Delphic Research, you can also search the CanGov 411 directory, featuring more than 300,000 government officials from across Canada, searchable by name, title, or department. So if I need to find a director of policy in Ontario, CanGov 411 will provide a full list of everyone meeting that criteria. With one click, I'll have their contact information, and with one more, I can save them to my contacts. Campaigns allow you to design and implement a complex, multi-topic and multi-phased advocacy campaign from right within PoliTraQ. Outline the details of your campaign, draft key messages, and conduct SWOT and stakeholder analyses. From there, you can begin to outline the top-line objectives of your campaign, flesh out the initiatives that will comprise each objective, and begin to assign specific tactics with deadlines and deliverables to every member of your team. Sent to all users every Monday to Friday morning, the PoliTraQ Daily Roundup provides a coast-to-coast-to-coast legislative scan of the day's news and policy events, including headlines from across the country, a rundown of government announcements, and a full activity scan for the House, Senate, and all provincial and territorial legislatures. By adding keywords to your account or user profile, you'll also receive the PoliTraQ keyword scan, where your terms are referenced in the House of Commons or in your provincial or territorial legislature, as well as if they appear in government media advisories. Finally, PoliTraQ makes available a ton of legislative and policy data, including legislation, committee memberships, cabinet portfolios, orders in council, and more, available through the Resources tab. From the Account page, authorized users can create new team member logins and add keywords and relevant jurisdictions to monitor. At the user level, you can also add specific terms to your personal keywords list, track your lobbying registrations, and even flag contact prohibitions for your team. If you use the email integration, you can also reach out to your contacts directly from the profile page. At any point, if you have questions or concerns, encounter a bug, or would like to request a new feature, feel free to contact our team through the Contact Us button in the footer. On behalf of our entire team, I would like to thank you for choosing PoliTraQ to manage and monitor your advocacy efforts. PoliTraQ was built by and for Canadian government relations professionals, and it's our pleasure to help dedicated professionals like you from coast to coast work more effectively, monitor your progress, and track your advocacy impact.